Hey everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of Mitch's Mega Minute. It's me, your host, Mitch. I
Match
don't know why it's so
me,
funny.
Amanda.
like just like
Amanda.
just horribly distort everything. Um
That's how you gotta do it sometimes,
yeah,
though.
dude, I've been away from my computer for like the last few days, so like it's definitely like weird to kind of like the first thing I had to do to come back, cuz I'm like, "Oh yeah, I can like kind of avoid going to like the computer for a little bit." My brother-in-law's been in town, and so like I haven't
Uh-huh.
like we've been just hanging out and stuff, and I'll get more into that like in a little bit.
Yeah.
um but first and foremost, before we go any further into the podcast, we need to talk about a little bit about what's happening this week, because hey, guess what? When you see in your feed that we're not uploading a lot and you didn't watch my show, because you don't watch this podcast, because we really have to emphasize that like important like site news or like channel news comes on the podcast, and most of the time like people don't watch it, so they don't know what happens, and then they'll be like, why didn't you guys upload anything for a while? Or what, like they don't pay attention. Not that they pay attention, it's more like we just don't advertise the fact that all of the channel news literally comes from this podcast, because laziness, maybe, I don't.
Let me tell you how dumb I am. Like, right the fuck now. I grabbed the fucking link to post it into the Discord, did not notice you already did it, and did it again. I was
uh
like, let me just do that real quick. It'll
yeah,
be
no,
nice. I'll just
this
don't
is
know if he's done it yet, so let me
this
just boop. Oh.
if there's one, if there, like, honestly, like doing the podcast is one of those things where it's like, I know it's not my most watched show, but it's still something which I'm like, yeah, like I'll still, I don't know, it's one of those things where it's like it's the one time a week we get like super like free with whatever we're talking about.
Oh yeah. Hell
um
yeah.
and like it's like we can talk about anything. So like sometimes when you do shows and podcasts and stuff like that, or not podcasts, when we do let's play, like, so like me and Gangwoodle will want to go on a tangent, right, like a super hardcore tangent,
Mhm.
and we'll want to talk about like something like, but we know we can't, because there is really no form of segue, and like that's kind of that's the trick with doing let's play with your friends. You're always wanting to talk about something the audience probably doesn't want to hear about. um like back in the
Like
day.
you'll be in the middle of a fucking dungeon, you're like, "Hey gang, can I please talk to you about like blah 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 blah?" And fucking there's no way you can just be like, "So how was your day?"
Yeah, well, that's okay. So like it's like a super fine line, right? Like you either you either have to like not to gripe and grieve about like like how like the format works, but like we notice, like when you guys comment, or when the or their lack of comment, we can tell when you guys zone out on something we're talking about. One of the big topics that we kind of realized that you guys don't like to hear about is when me and Ganguno start talking about Steven Universe
Mm.
anytime, because you guys don't like Steven Universe. So we just kind of like, we're like, we should keep that on the side. And like, even then, I still haven't been watching the new stuff. But like, the podcast is my one bastion of just like whatever the fuck I want to talk about. And it, in a weird way, like the formatting of it, I think is the most restricting part of it, because like we're sitting here like, what do we want to talk about? I'm like, we can fucking talk about anything. Like we can, honest to God, like just talk
Whatever
about
the fuck
fucking.
we feel like.
It's all. The only restriction is the fact that I need to pick a picture, like in the middle of the podcast, because it's an audio and visual thing. Um, but honestly, like it's, I don't know. To me, it's like I know it's not the most popular thing we do, but I've been doing the podcast for like not just this podcast, but like like Velvet Voices and other things. Like this is the one that like like this is the thing I do that I think I really enjoy doing the most. It's like when when I'm just like kind of just going at it like very like free form, and we can just talk about whatever, because hey, guess what, my friends gave me One Piece figures for Christmas,
Ah, ha ha
and
ha.
I got two Luffy's, which I think is great.
Oh my
uh
god, please tell me I got you a different Luffy than the
it's
one the
Yeah.
other one you got.
No, yeah, no, I got two Luffy. One is him with a yellow sash, which looks fucking sick. Like it's him in like
Yeah.
the red dress shirt and the blue shorts and a yellow sash, and the other one is like Snake Man. Oh,
Oh, thank
So
God. Because
good.
I thought for a second you're like, so I got two of the same bitch, and I was like, no,
No. Tabby
no.
got me. Tabby knew my love of Pokemon plushes. For those at home who don't know, I super duper love Pokemon plushies. They're so cute, and they're like the closest we're gonna get to like Pokemon figures that aren't just like action figures. And they're normally like they're like roughly the size. Sometimes like you can find ones that are like life size versions of Pokemon. I remember back in when X and Y came out, they had I think it was Fennekin, like Fennekin or Chespin, or like there was actual like life size versions of the Pokemon you can get. And I don't know. I'm such a I just adore Pokemon plushies. They're so cute. They're a universal gift that you can just kind
Oh,
of like.
fuck yeah, dude.
They're so good. They're so fucking good.
I know. I got like a little score bunny.
Oh my god, it's so good. But anyways, guys, the whole point is that I really like doing the podcast. Which is why I kind of have to. It's weird because I have to like pivot this into channel news. And for the channel news this week, I gotta put that one down and put where's my channel logo. This is why I don't like the visual aspect of this. There it is. All right. So this week I'm going on vacation. I'm going back home for like a full week. So what was gonna be originally like just like Tuesday and Wednesday became like I'm gonna be there till like Sunday. So like when I get back from my vacation is like the day I'm gonna come back and talk about Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. Because in this episode of the podcast I'm not gonna be talking about it because I didn't see it. But I do want to talk a little bit about The Last Jedi one more time before we go into Rise of Skywalker, because I do feel I had recently rewatched the movie and I do want to talk about that. So if you guys were expecting me to do my Rise of Skywalker talk, I'm really sorry, but statistically speaking, I've been doing podcasts for a while. And something that I notice is every time we do Star Wars podcast, the weekend it comes out, all you guys leave because most of you haven't seen the movie yet.
Yeah, which I mean totally makes sense. Also, Lesbian Mate, I'm so sorry that like your mom binned your Pokemon figures.
Oh no.
Oh no, I'm so sorry. Fuck.
Pokemon.
I still have like a fuck ton of eBays. I'm so dumb. I started calling my EVs eBays. Fucking
I was here for that.
I know.
It happened just now.
I know, it was literally 2 seconds ago, but fucking I have a bunch of bootleg Eevee plushes and they're so fucking cute and so fucking dumb. Like two of their faces are on upside down.
Oh my god. My
And it's so fucking amazing.
I have a Froakie, and my favorite thing about the Froakie is the fact that one of its eyes is like a little derpy. But it's all good. He's still a cute little frog, and I love Froakie. Froakie is so cute and precious. But that's the thing. So like I don't know, Pokemon plushes are just like so like solid, and just like they're readily available like anywhere you go. Like I feel like that's another big thing is like if you go to like Walmart or GameStop or like anywhere really like Target or just any general store, like they'll always have like one or two, and like because there's so many Pokemon, you can pretty much just find like every time I go to like a different store, their inventory is always different. So like it's like I haven't like bought one in a while, but like it was just nice to get Grookey, and I'm like, oh, it's so cute. He's just a little monkey, and it's cute. But anyways, the point is that this week I will be gone. I didn't have a lot of time this weekend, guys. So my plan originally was to have some videos pre-rendered for you guys to kind of come out throughout the week. I did want to upload more Muv Love, despite how some of you guys feel about it.
Really? I haven't seen any of this stuff for like Muv-Love, actually.
So here's the deal. It's something I always forget about us. We're assholes. Like we are horrible jackasses. Like because most of the time when like people do like Let's Play, or like when people do like something or we tagged something, I keep forgetting about that. Like, especially because it's something new or something that might be like we do a lot of blind playthroughs.
Oh, that's right.
We shit on that main character and continuously shit. We recorded 2 episodes last week and we still shit on that guy.
He's such an asshole, though.
He is, but I'm assuming that there's something that like happens because it seems like there is some sort of redemption arc for the character. But like, guys, like, come on, I you can't expect us to like this guy. Like, he's classic. All right, like that's the thing we couldn't figure out. Like, I did get like a message on Tumblr about it.
Yeah.
Because guess what, guys? Apparently that's still the best way to get at me. And also because you can tell me shit anonymously.
Yeah. True that.
No, so I got a message that was just like something along the lines of like why are you playing such trash? And, and I'm like what the fuck? Like it was pretty much the statement was like oh, like Jedi Fallen Order had come out. There's so many other games that came out, and you fucking decided to play Muv-Luv.
It's like, okay, jeez, holy shit! I will remind everyone here that Muv-Luv was #1 in the nation when it came out.
Muv-Luv is still considered one of the greatest visual novels of all time.
Yeah, Muv-Luv in the visual novel community is considered like huge. Of course, we're a fucking visual novel channel. Of course, we have to at least touch it.
It was like a funny bit of just like there's like the message was just essentially like they have a point. They're like there was a lot of new stuff, and I'm like that's not stuff I want to play on my show. Like let me put it this way, like Jedi not Last Order, Fallen Order, like yeah, it looks super good. Yes, I intend to get it like Tuesday or something like that. But like do you guys really want to watch us play AAA games when everyone's playing AAA games?
Or do you want us to fucking play quote unquote trash?
Yeah. Like okay, so that's
suffer.
like that's the thing, right? So like if I don't have like a genuine interest in something, I'm not gonna fucking play it. Like that's the like straight up. Like Jedi sounds really solid. Do I want to sit there and fucking fuck up all the time and then just have you guys berate me about it? Yes, that sounds like a fun time. But I also don't want to play Jedi Fallen fucking Order. Like that's a game I want to play on my own time, like something that I can really like relax to. Because hey, let's just fucking talk semantics, shall we? All right. Nate had to do Pokemon for the channel, and Nate hates the fact that he had to do Pokemon for the channel because he couldn't play it. And so like there's like the games that we pick, the games that we play, they're normally games that we either really enjoy, something that we think will be interesting, or just something that will like, you know, like I think that you guys will just find fun. You know, like it's not just like you guys, but also us. We also have to enjoy it because I'm not sure if you guys remember Neko Jishi, but that game is misery incarnate for us for some fucking reason. If we do come back, I was kind of running this idea back and forth in my mind. Amanda, I might force you to come do that one with us, or just find a third party because Nate and I struggle so hard to get through that game.
I would love to watch you guys
just fucking melt. Melt and die.
Yeah, absolutely. I would fucking love to watch that happen in real time.
All I'm trying to get at is the fact, like, yes, every now and then we'll play something big. Before Overwatch became a big fucking trash fire, we would play Overwatch every now and then because that's something fun we like to do. When Kingdom Hearts 3 came out, yes, it's a big AAA game, but also Sora and I have a huge investment in that game. We keep talking about it when we did the playthrough. There's gonna be some games that we're gonna play, but for the most part, our channel philosophy kind of changes here and there. But as it stands right now with Save Point, you know, we just want to play games that we're gonna have fun with because the minute we stop having fun, we're not monetized. We don't make cash off of this. Like, you might see ads in some of my videos, but that's not from me. That's from fucking, you know, like the fucking ad claims and stuff like that. Like, there's some games, actually, ironically, Muv-Luv, where something will get claimed and copyrighted from like the OST, and like they'll run an ad, and so like that's not on me, that's just on, you know, the game itself, I guess, because like literally it was the weirdest thing. I saw the ad claim and I'm like, okay, what is it? Or like, and it was just like the soundtrack. They registered the soundtrack, and so like certain, like, which is funny because I keep thinking about that specific song they captured, and that's like the common ass song for like most of the game. So, you know, I all I'm trying to get at is just like the message didn't hurt my feelings because I know where it comes from. It's just a desire to watch us play something. But at the same time, like, dude, like we're not Game Grumps. We're not Matt McMuscles. We're not like, you know, PewDiePie or anyone else. We are a 1,700 channel, like subscriber channel, and I love doing this. But like, come on, we're gonna be playing games that are dumb and goofy right now. In our workshop, like we're planning on doing like a Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm like playthrough, because I want to drag everyone into my Naruto hell. Or like there's a Blaze Blue playthrough we've been kind of like throwing up because I know people miss fighting games on the channel. Like, I don't know. I don't know why. I'm sorry if this is like kind of a weird way to start the podcast off, because I do have super fun and I am enjoying myself, but I needed to get that off my chest. Like, I get where you're coming from, Anonymous. I super do. Come on. Like, cut me some slack.
I know. Yeah, I had no idea you got that message of why are you playing trash? I was like, whoa.
What the fuck? Oh, God.
The #1 game rated in Japan.
This episode's called The Best Surprises, and we're gonna kind of get into that. I hope at least if you found my fucking rant like at least a little entertaining. Jesus Christ. I always slightly regret when I go on rants like that.
Oh no, you're okay.
as long as none of the fans are just like, you fucking suck, man. Just like, oh God.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it's fine. Just like, damn. Didn't know it was like that, y'all.
Like this is where toxicity begins to grow, and then there's gonna be fucking YouTube channels devoted to just like the scumminess of Save Point City.
I know, God.
Also known as save scumming.
Save scumming, Save Point scumming.
God damn it! All right,
like, damn, fuck, fam. All
right. So yeah, just so everyone knows, we're gonna be on vacation for like a week essentially. If Nate and Amanda decide to do stuff, that's super cool. But I'm gonna be away from my computer because I'm gonna be home. So I'm just letting everyone know.
We'll totally let you know if we do.
Yeah. And then I think like this, like we're not gonna do any videos. Like not any videos, but like Persona doesn't come back till like the new year, and even then I have to talk to Gangmudo about that and like figure out like when the first time we're coming back is. And kind of just, you know, figure it out from there, because like I said, there's like tons of games and stuff like I have planned and everything. I guess it was just really disheartening to read that, of just being like, yeah, well,
yeah, just like, okay. Damn, fam.
Damn.
All right.
Yeah. I
mean, noted.
All right. One sec. We might get a tiny. That's the thing. I hate how YouTube works, because I want to mute all of this so that I can open up like the comment section, and they're like, nah, bruh.
Oh no, I have. Are you talking about the comment section of Muv-Love or of the?
No, because the comment section of Muv-Love is all essentially like, I hope you guys stick with it and stuff like that.
Aww,
like, it's very nice. Yeah.
That's actually really... What the fuck, Anna? Like, damn. Fuck.
Alright, so let me go ahead and just try. I want to see that sick chat. So I'm like trying to open that up real quick. So if you can't hear Amanda, that's probably why.
Yeah, right. I have the chat pulled up.
Alright, neato.
But yeah, can I just tell you, Katz is doing something that like apparently they haven't done for movies like almost ever. Uh Cats has like such bad animation errors with their CG that they're sending out thousands of copies to theaters to fix it.
You know what? I feel like we need to change the channel logo real quick. And I'm just gonna leave this blank screen while we talk about cats. Because okay,
Yeah,
so
not a fucking
wait,
problem.
what the fuck is happening?
Uh Cats has such bad animation errors that they've had to send fixed copies to like cinemas all over the US.
What are like? Okay, so like, well, how big of errors are we talking?
So some of the smaller ones include like a little bit of like glitching into things. Uh and then at some points you can see human hands even though they're supposed to be like cat hands, but
Oh,
there's like whole scenes where it's like that's just that actress's hands. But then the biggest one is because it's a musical and a dancing one at that, where it's super known for the choreography. People look down at their feet and go, "Oh, they're not touching the floor. They're
oh,
floating.
this. Okay, all right.
These cats are floating."
I was tempted to go get an image of cats to put up for a visual, but then I remember that everyone fucking hates the way they look, and I'm like, I'm good. I'm good actually.
Yeah, no.
So
They're really weird. But it's when your main thing is choreography and you're having them not touch the floor, it's kind of a fucking issue.
I just cats feels like it's not real to me. Like I don't know how to emphasize that enough. I was literally at the movies yesterday, and like there was a poster for cats, and I'm just like, this isn't real. And even
That's not a thing.
and like I'll go into my movie story a little later, but like essentially all it really boils down to is just like anytime I see cats, like I see a trailer of it, it feels like something that would play before Tropic Thunder, like one of those like joke trailers that like that you'd see for like a movie within a movie. It's like cats, and it's like it purposely looks horrible.
Yeah.
And it just I don't under like the idea that people invested millions upon millions of dollars into this fucking movie is so like it's so bizarre. It's like it doesn't register to me that it's real and that people have actually worked hard and there was choreography and celebrities and Idris Elba's in the fucking movie. Like none of that stuff like registers to me that this fucking shit is real. And then my favorite part is I like Friday morning there was news
Mhm.
articles and just collections of just the most like people's new favorite thing to do this weekend besides go see Rise of Skywalker was to like make reviews for the Cats movie that were just like fever dream expressions and just like like just talk about how like they don't know how to fully comprehend like how absolute batshit this movie is.
So, um, do you know who the director is?
Who is the director?
The guy who did Les Mis.
Ah, I actually liked Les Mis.
Yeah, isn't that the fucking issue?
uh,
Because everybody's like, "How the fuck?" Yeah, there is an orgy scene in Cats, by the way. How the fuck did this happen? And I have seen a theory about why.
what's the theory?
Um, so some people pointed out that the company in charge of filming and producing Cats said a couple years ago, like 2, 3 years ago, that 2 or something days ago would be the release date for their Wicked movie. The Wicked musical. So, um, the running theory is that they scrapped Wicked partway through for some reason and just did Cats.
Wait, why wouldn't they just can the whole project then?
I don't know, but the release date for Cats is like the same one that was for Wicked, and it's the same company and the whole 9 yards. With like some of the same crew, and they're like, wait a minute, you said that Wicked was going to be coming out, and then all of a sudden Wicked turned into Cats, and then nothing has been said about like the Wicked production since. So they don't fucking know what the fuck is up.
Fuck. All right. I'm done talking about cats. I'm fucking.
Also, Lesbian, how did I just vibe check you?
Oh man. It's so fucked. All right, let's just talk.
I love how you're like, I've talked about cats for all 5 minutes. And you're like, what the fuck,
dude? I can't
out.
fucking deal with cats. All right, like I like certain musicals. I really like like I really liked Les Mis when it came out. I thought that was just a well done production, and then like I just to know that is in the same vein as this movie is just like we're starting to talk about this and I want to die. That's where like my mind auto defaulted to self-preservation by termination. So like,
your brain's like, I need to back the fuck out of this conversation or I'm going to explode.
Yeah, I'm going to fucking
I can't deal.
I'm going to I need to back out of not this conversation, out of existence, because this fucking movie exists.
I just need to backpedal so fucking hard. The worst part is that like canonly in the Cats musical, all they do is just like, hi, I'm this cat. Death. Hi, I'm this cat. Death. Hi, I'm this cat.
I never see Cats. Death. I have no fucking clue what like.
They talk about death a lot all throughout Cats. So imagine the fucking faces of those CG nightmares. And they're just like, hey, sex, death. Thank you. And then they just leave. They just bounce to go do one or the other that they just said. And it's like, wait, why? What the fuck?
I've had a dream of life gone by.
Oh, so that's another thing. Apparently, some people are comparing some of the scenes to just shot by shot for fucking Les Mis.
How can I live when we are parted?
Yeah, and they're like, oh, that's just, I dreamed a dream. That's what this scene is. I dreamed a dream.
Aww.
And I was like, did you just copy and paste I dreamed a dream?
Hey, at least it's not like, okay, is there at least like, fuck, I feel like my brain cell's dying in this conversation. Like there's not like a Kurt Russell though, right? Like at least there's that, right? Like, they got people who can sing. Well, Kurt Russell's just not just like fucking one more day to revolution, we will nip it in the bud. Like he fucking like,
we will nip it in the bud.
I'm exaggerating, obviously, but he's like you have it's so hard because in that movie in Les Mis, you have fucking Hugh Jackman who can really just deliver a great vocal performance. And then you have Kurt Russell here out in the darkness. Like,
well, they tried to make Kurt Russell do like that style of singing, but that's not what he can do. He's a singer, definitely, just not that type of singer, if that makes any sense.
God, falling from grace. I wish I was doing the show back then.
Prisoner 5601.
24601.
24601. Fucking, yeah. I'm not sure. I've only seen some of the singers. Yeah, I mean, I know they definitely have like big names, like fucking Taylor Swift is like the main kitty cat. So I know she can sing, but as far as acting, I have no idea.
And if I fell as Lucifer fell, the flame be there.
Yeah, honestly, it's.
Oh god.
Also, the CG. Whoo. Also,
Oh.
Jennifer Hudson is in the movie.
No, okay, can we not? Can we just fucking not? Every sentence you say makes me feel like I'm on the fucking edge, like fucking, like...
Okay, but like, going back to that theory, all these big names, wouldn't it make more sense if this was Wicked?
Yeah,
And not Cats?
it does. Oh my god! Like I've never felt more like how do words? It's like disassociation slowly seeping in, but also just like a visceral pain in my soul. Oh fuck! And I know it sounds like over dramatic.
Yeah.
I've never gone from the highest of highs to wondering if I'm currently depressed. like in the middle of a show. I've never been like, wow, there's like tons of stuff. I love doing the podcast. And then like just you fucking pushed me off a cliff and now I'm gonna fall in that stupid like flat line water and then get drowned into a whirlpool because fucking
I'm so sorry.
Why?
I don't know.
Not you.
I asked, hey, is it okay if I fucking talk about the Cats movie?
No, I'm not talking about not like why you, just like why? Why is this such a fucking like it's like almost like the Fallout 76 of movies, where every time I hear something new about it, I'm like, wow, that's fucked.
Okay, well, as a side note, Idris Elba's in Cats.
I know, Idris.
I know. Like,
I'm just Javert right now. I'm just like wandering the fucking edge. Like, do I do it? Do I fucking do it? Oh god.
I mean, so Cats is definitely a fucking fever dream.
Oh my god.
And I don't know why they've done this.
Understatement of the fucking century, huh?
I guess I'm just curious about how they could get such big names. Like Ian Keelan, however you pronounce his last name.
Magneto's in this fucking thing.
Magneto's in this fucking thing. Right next to fucking Rebel Wilson.
Oh my.
And Jason Derulo.
Wait. God, just shut up. Shut up. Jason Derulo.
Jason Derulo.
I'm that flat that you get on.
Yep. International. Magneto's in it, man. I just...
Here in the garden, a fugitive running, falling from God.
Nothing makes me, like, feel weirder than when it's, like, credits, Jason Derulo as Rum Tum Tugger.
I've never been on this podcast before, and I'm just like, can we just fucking end it? Can we just fucking stop? Can we just... I've never had like my hand in like my fucking like. I'm like, oh yeah, Mitch, just a minute. This is the show where I get to talk about whatever the fuck I want to talk. No, this is the thing.
No, I want to back out.
Not today's episode. Mitchell gets to fucking feel the backhand of God. Just fucking smack him down from the highest of highs. Oh my god, I saw a really good movie and I want to talk about it. But
let's talk
no, I don't want to talk about it now. I'm fucking because this is what happens. This is what fucking happens. I'm like, yeah, like what is cinema, Mitchell? What's cinema? And I'm like, oh, it's the air between the leaves of grass. It's the wind going across a child's face. Movies can be so much. It's like the force. It's everywhere. It surrounds us. It binds us. It tells us storytelling. And then all of a sudden, I'm like Ray, man. I'm sitting on the fucking rock, and I'm like, oh, there's a dark pit. It's a dark pit surrounded by seaweed, and there's a hole, and I feel it's calling out to me. It's something. It might tell me something of use, and then every like little piece of Cats trivia you tell me just keeps pulling me in. I'm like, and Mark Hamill's sitting there, and he's like, fight it, resist it, don't find out more about this fucking Cats movie. And I'm like, no, I have to know more. I have to know more. And then I fucking fall in the fucking pit. And then Mark Hamill has to fucking smack me in the face, and he's like, you didn't even resist. You didn't even resist. And I'm like, and I fell right into the dark side of the movies.
You just let it happen.
I just
let the darkness consume you. It washed over you like a fucking tidal wave, and you just opened your arms wider for it.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Jason Derulo.
I'm so sorry.
I go into the darkness. I land in the water. There's a giant glass fucking wall. I go, walk up to the wall.
Everyone in the chat's like concerned greatly.
And there's there's just a wall. There's just a wall, and I see my reflection, and in the reflection there's Taylor Swift cat. I put my hand up and I snap my finger, and she snaps, and the reflection of her just keeps snapping too.
And then suddenly behind her, Magneto cat.
And then the narration begins, and I'm just like, man, I really hope I get some kind of answer as if this is real or not. And then they show the shot of all the different cat people just like all snapping their fingers like sequentially. And then they finally get to the other
like
end of it.
Like it's some defuncto fucking Grease movie.
And they fucking and then it cuts to the other end, and it's just me looking in, realizing that I won't find my answers by looking at the wall.
I'm so sorry I've brought this demon into your house.
All right, so
Grossin says, "Okay, we've gone from this kind of Game Grumps like skit to legitimate concern over mental health."
No, I'm quoting a scene from the last, not from the Last Jedi. Anyways, guys, so the cat. There's a part of me, man. This is the worst part. You tell me all this shit, right? You tell me all this shit, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, do I want to go see this just to know? Do I want to see this just so I know?
You gotta see it quick before they release the actual finished product.
Oh, okay. I guess so. I'm almost tempted to grab Gang Mudo.
Do it. Grab Gang. Grossen's like, you're not sorry for shit, Amanda.
All right, let's talk about a good movie, shall we?
Yeah, let's talk about a good movie.
So you're probably wondering who this guy I just put on the screen is. So there was a movie that went under the radar, like super hardcore under the radar this weekend because, and I'm not sure if it was released last week or this week or I don't know like what's up with that. But essentially, what happened was there's a lot of movies that came out in December, but a lot of people are trying to avoid December because guess what? Rise of Skywalker. This is a picture of Richard Jewell, the titular character from the movie, Richard Jewell. And what happened was yesterday, I was with my brother-in-law, and we were trying to find tickets for the movie Knives Out, or Ford vs. Ferrari. Essentially, we had decided on those two movies. It turns out both showings were full, and the next movie that was going to play, the closest one was going to be, was a movie called Richard Jewell, directed by Clint Eastwood. So I didn't know like jack shit going into this movie about what this was about any of the advertising, about what kind of story this was. And the reason why this episode was called The Best Surprises is because I could not shut up about this movie last night after I saw it. It's not something groundbreaking. It's not something like, that's gonna, it's gonna like throw you for a loop or anything like that. It's actually pretty par for the course when it comes to like dramas and stuff like that. But I'm gonna tell you a little bit about my experience with it, and if you're interested, you can go see it. If not, super understandable. But I do want to kind of share this story with you because I don't know. I think it's great. Richard Jewell was essentially a security guard during the 1996 Olympics, and his whole deal was he wanted to be a cop, but he's kind of a weirdo in the sense that like he's a little socially awkward. He's a little he's just a very awkward guy. He means the best, but like you can see that he's like one of those guys that like maybe doesn't like understand fully the grounds of like like what's okay and what's not okay. One of the establishing shots in the movie is him as like a college kind of like security guard, and he's acting like a police officer, with like going in without a search warrant and stuff like that. Like he's doing stuff that like obviously isn't okay, right? But he has this high respect for the law. He has this high respect for law enforcement. He was a police officer for a little bit, and I can't remember how they explained it in the movie, but essentially something happens and he's just no longer a police officer, and he wants to kind of go back into law enforcement.
Yeah.
So the 1996 Olympics took place in the States. And essentially he's working security for the big bands that are playing in the city, and he all these police officers are kind of like looking around and stuff, and the story goes that that he says that there's like a backpack that looks suspicious. No one's really like it's just a backpack there, people are saying, and reluctantly some people like they go and they're like, well, no, we gotta be, he's just like, no, we've gotta like do something, we gotta say something about it. And eventually reluctantly some people come over, like the police officers come over, like the guys who can handle this kind of stuff, and they look inside the backpack and there's 3 pipe bombs. And so they do their best to kind of evacuate the small area of this, because an active concert's happening in the moment, right? And so they're trying to get everyone to kind of step back. They're trying to like do the best they can. And Richard's like, he goes up into the tower where they have like the film equipment and stuff like that, and the people are like filming stuff, and it's underneath this bench. The backpack's underneath this bench, and he gets everyone out. He's kind of running the perimeter, telling people to move, and the explosion happens. It injures 100 people, kills 2 people, and it could have been way worse. These pipe bombs are filled with like nails and everything. Like it's a whole ordeal. Now, in a normal movie, in my mind, like in a normal movie, like how this would work is the whole story would be building up to that heroic moment where he saw a problem, he wasn't clowning around, and he to me like that's the moment, because then like the news people start coming around, they're wanting to hear about this guy, and he's very humble about everything, and he's praising the law enforcement that were there and stuff like that, and he's a little awkward and stuff, but like he's like I don't know how to word this exactly, but he's very appreciative and just wanting to make sure everyone's okay, and like it's very sweet. He's a very sweet man. And then the movie kind of turns. Like once again, I didn't know jack shit about this movie. But then the movie turns, because in my mind I'm like, this is how a movie ends. Why are we doing this at the beginning, right? So the movie then turns, and as it turns out, Richard Jewell had the profile of a false hero bomber kind of thing that the FBI was like,
oh my gosh.
And because he's a loner straight white guy who who had obviously he has those troubled bits like I told you earlier, where he's like where he's kind of go like he tries to go with the authority of like a police officer when he's just a security guard. He was also known for like when during that time frame like he was pulling people over on the highway when he didn't have that kind of jurisdiction and stuff like that. And in his mind, like I can see where he's coming from, because in his mind that makes sense to him, right? Like, he's explaining to like the dean in that scene. He's like, if we can avoid trouble as they're coming into the college grounds, then there you go. And like it's not perfect logic, but it like in my own mind, I'm like, okay, I can see where you're coming with that. It doesn't make it right at all.
No, not at all. But the logic is there,
right? So then all of a sudden, news outlets are starting to get like, the idea. Richard Jewell set up his own heroic act, and the movie is about the struggle of him trying to clear his name, not just from the media, who villainize him because of the type of person he is, but also the FBI, who's doing some really weird stuff during the case. And it's disheartening. Also, John Hamm's in this movie and Olivia Wilde's in this movie. Like, a lot of like pretty, like, I'm like, these are actors I actually really like. Like, like I saw John Hamm, like, what the fuck? Like, this is like, I'm like, I didn't watch his show. I didn't watch Mad Men, which is the thing that everyone knows him for. I actually I saw him in like Baby Driver and stuff like that. And like every time I see him in a movie, he just has the air of a good actor. And that's the thing. All the actors are so solid in this movie. Like and obviously I don't want to spoil too much about it. Like that's pretty much the premise of it is how this I'm gonna say simple. I'm gonna say the simple kind of character, who might not do the right things, or might not do like, maybe not the right things, might not do like things that like we would kind of see as being the right things, but
he's just trying to do the right thing.
Right. Also, Sam Rockwell's in this movie. I'm not sure if any of you guys know like that particular actor. He was in Green Mile, Galaxy Quest. He's the bad guy from Iron Man 2. I'm like grabbing at straws.
Yeah, bad guy from Iron Man 2 might actually click for people.
Yeah. But like, like you have like all these really solid actors in it, and honestly, this was a movie that I went into, I didn't know anything about it, and by the end of it, I was so happy I saw it. Like you just have like very believable like characters, and you have very like just like the performances are very well done. I know this is going to be a movie that kind of goes under the radars because of Star Wars, because of Cats, because of all these other movies, but I really enjoyed seeing a very grounded story, and it's definitely something that like I really like enjoyed it. For what it's worth. This might not, like I said, it's not for everyone, obviously. And I know this is a little different kind of topic, that like, for this kind of show, because we normally talk about game stuff and anime stuff and all sorts of like TV media and all that junk. But like, I really do like historical, like little like snippets like this. I do enjoy like a story like this, because his name was, for all intents and purposes, ruined. His family's life was hell.
Oh, yeah. No doubt. If, like, even the suspicion falls on you, it never goes away. Even if, like, they clear your name, the suspicion never really leaves, with especially situations like being a murderer or being a bomber or anything like that. That doesn't go away, even if they, like, catch who did it. And that's... Fuck. It sounds like a really good movie. I might have to go see it, because the entire time I was like, well, did he? Well, what happened? Because I was like, well, what happened then?
I would love to talk with you about, like, if you go see this movie, I'd love to talk to you about it, because honestly, this is one of those movies that, like, we literally got out of the theater, we couldn't shut up about it, and like we visited Tabby at work, and was telling her like about this movie, and how like everyone, when we went into the theater, everyone there was like older, like they were like people like in their 50s and 60s, And it's even when we went to go get the ticket, because the person was like, you could watch Cats or this, and I'm like, I guess we're watching that. um and like she was trying to tell us a little bit about how she's like, I remember like when this happened. And I mean, 96 was like 20 something years ago now, like, you know, it was 23 years ago now. And so like
Yeah.
there's, I don't know, I guess it's just like it's just good. Like it's just like the I know it sounds weird, it's just, I guess I've been so obsessed with space wizards and like worrying about like how the Space Wizards movie was going to do, that like kind of watching a story that's just grounded and is just like just a historical little bit, and you know, watching something like this was just very nice. Like it was just like, it reminded me of like what makes a good movie, like what makes a good story. Like instead of expecting something out of a multi-million-dollar fucking production, you know, it was just good to come back and just watch something that like I just genuinely enjoyed. And I honestly wish that there was more. I wish that I did that more often, honestly. I wish instead of knowing when I'm going to go watch that, I would just go to the movies and just pick something random and just kind of get what I get. And if it's good, it's good. And if it isn't, it isn't. Because like the best surprises. This was one of the best surprises I've ever watched. And like I want to like take my dad to go see this movie because I think he'd enjoy it. And like
And you
it's,
said this was like a Clint Eastwood movie?
yeah, Eastwood as a director is super solid. So like
Fuck yeah, dude.
yeah.
Fuck yeah.
You know, this feels like like I know, like that's the thing. I know that on Rotten Tomatoes has like a score of 70 or something like that. And that's the thing. I'm not gonna say this movie is gonna be like super profound, or it's gonna change like, you know, the way that you like live your life or something like that. But it's to me, this was something that I really needed. I needed a good movie. I didn't need disappointment. I didn't need my expectations destroyed. I didn't need like, you know, a big
I
collect.
didn't need to stare into the void and it screamed at me.
I didn't, you know, like I don't know, I'm happy. And the best part is like they show trailers for other movies that are like this that are coming out in the next couple months. There was a lot of things that I'm like, I actually kind of want to go see those. And so like if I come back on the podcast and I'm talking about something like this again, you'll know that like, you know, I probably did, or like, you know, maybe I won't, because that's the thing. I don't know if you guys like it when I talk about movies like this, where it's like, because I just like movies. I just like, I'm not like Red Letter Media or like some of these other ones who just watch movies, you know, like religiously. But I do enjoy film. Like it's something that I really like. Um, and I don't know. To me, like it was just nice. It was just nice to go to the theater and just have this. So, um, that being said, kind of want to talk about another movie real quick. So, and I know that this is a movie I already have talked about, so I'm not going to go on it too long. But I do want to talk a little bit about The Last Jedi. Recently, I had a chance to rewatch this movie. One as just a little refresher for myself because the new movie did come out this weekend. And rewatching it, I realized a lot about what I liked and didn't like about this movie. And honestly, watching it a second time, or watching it again for the first time in a long time, it's still mixed. I still feel very mixed about it, but there is things that I end up like. The stuff with Rey and Kylo is the most solid parts in that movie to me. That's ironically like the Space Wizard stuff, and the stuff I'm normally not like super into with Star Wars is the stuff that I actually really enjoyed. I still don't agree with what they did with Mark Hamill, but like, I mean, no one does at this point. Like, I mean, I don't know a lot of people who like.
Yeah, apparently Mark Hamill didn't even like what they did with
Well, to be
so
honest, that's the thing. Honestly, if I didn't hear that, like, because that's the biggest news, right? It's like Mark Hamill didn't even like what they did with Luke Skywalker. The guy who played him didn't even like it, and you know, I don't know. It's sad. It's a really sad thing. But like, the truth of the matter is that next week when I come on and I'm talking to you guys about Rise of Skywalker, spoiler free or not spoiler free. I fucking hate spoiler free shit. You're gonna have all the spoilers in it.
You're gonna take these spoilers and you're gonna fucking like it.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I hate saying it like this, but like, you know, like fuck, dude. Like, spoilers were out for this movie like on Tuesday. Like, fucking
Yeah,
there's
spoilers came out like before. the movie even did. So
You know what? It's 10 o'clock. I can probably go look it up right now because I am like I'm so curious about it. I want to know how much Rise of Skywalker made at the box office. I'm so curious. It is generated a 176 million and 374 million globally. All right.
yeah, all right.
I hate this. Some of these articles. Box office. Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker opens to just 176 million.
Well, I mean just 176 million, but also I mean it's Star Wars, you know? Cuz how much did fucking the other ones open with? Okay,
That's
like
super true.
the
Hang on, let
first
me.
one.
Force Awakens.
Yeah.
All right, about Force Awakens. Hang on, I need to look up first week because it made $2 billion.
Oh, yeah, but I mean,
First week had 500 million.
yeah.
Okay, I can see why. Okay, so that's the thing though. Like, how do I word this? Like, coming from like, I feel like I've talked your guys' ears off about this shit, and that's why I don't really want to talk about it more. But like, Star Wars is something that's very near and dear to me. And I've told you guys about that before. I used to run a sci-fi club in middle school. I used to be bullied about it. I used to have like all this shit. And like, I know that's dumb that I have this like affiliation, or not affiliation, but this association with like good storytelling with Star Wars because I loved it. And I love the world that it took place in, and I loved everything about it. And I think that at the end of the day, there's a lot of people who feel that way like about it. Obviously they do. Like, obviously tons of people feel the way I do about Star Wars. But hell, some people love it way more than I do, you know? But, like, at the end of the day, I just want a good movie, you know? Like, I want something that I can show people and be happy about. And because, let me put it this way, right? Let's go back, you know, fucking, let's go back a little bit, right? Let's go back about 2 years ago, right? 2 years ago, around this time, I think actually The Last Jedi had just come out. And the movie that I was most excited for wasn't even The Last Jedi. It was fucking The Disaster Artist, a movie that I still tout as one of the best films I've ever seen, just because it might not be, like I said, it's not going to be groundbreaking. It's not going to be something that, like, you know, I think that, like, oh man, this is going to change your fucking life. But, like, it's something that is fun. I took my dad to see that movie, and not to get personal, but like, my dad has had a really hard time watching movies since a personal tragedy in my family life. He's had a very hard time going to the movies. Had very hard times doing a lot of stuff, and I don't want to go into that. But, you know, one of the things that and obviously it colors my opinion of the movie, but for the first time, I took my dad to the movies. I take my dad to the movies all the time when I lived at home, I took him to the movies, and he laughed the whole time. He was absorbed in that weird, awkward performance of Tommy Wiseau. You know, oh god, what is his name? What's the name of the actor who played Tommy Wiseau? Shit, I was gonna say Harry Osborn. That's not his name.
Fuck, I have no idea.
God damn it. James Franco. James Franco's performance of Tommy Wiseau, like for the first time I took my dad to the theater, and he was so absorbed and so, like, you know, and that's the thing. And I'll watch reviewers, and they'll be like, "Oh, it was okay," or "Oh, it was this," you know, like, but like I don't know, like, to me, like, that movie, like it was so, like, it was solid because, like, the performance was so good, it was so weird and funny, and, like, that's, like, what I'm looking for, like, sometimes in my comedies, is just to have something that's so different, without going, like, too odd or too weird. And sometimes I like to go that way, you know. Sometimes I like to have movies that go, like, super weird, but like The Last Jedi, I was excited for The Last Jedi, and like, you know, and that's the thing, I'm a huge bitch baby when it comes to movies. I'll openly like cry during movies, because like I'm just like so in love with the story. Like I'm so in love with something, you know, like or like I'll like something emotional will happen. Like I can't tell you how many times I was like on the border of tears during Richard Jewell. Like I was like there's certain moments in that movie where like I just feel so bad. I just feel so bad for these people because, and the worst part is it's historically like it's actually a real story, and I'm like, oh no,
This is a real man.
and
They
like
did this to a real
they did this to a
person.
hero, and like it's the worst, and just it oh so like it just it's bad. But the point is like I'm so like I'm such a bitch baby when it comes to movies because I will cry, I will like actually like tear up and stuff. Even at the simplest
There's
of shit.
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I know there's nothing wrong with that, but I just think it's like that's just how I am as a person. Like that's how I feel when it comes to film. There'll be certain scenes that happen where I'm like where I'll start to tear up just because like I like the acting is so good, or I believe in the performance, or I get carried away with it, and like you know like that's kind of, you know, like that's the thing, like is the disaster artist perfect? No. In fact, a lot of people say that like it's not even true to the book, ironically, and I will say that too. Like I do feel like they didn't touch up on some of the darker aspects of the story, or the more toxic aspects of their relationship. The things that made the book very fascinating was the fact that Tommy Wiseau is not only just a toxic person, but he's also a horribly depressed and seemingly cursed kind of individual. And like the book portrays him as, you know, as kind of this, he's a strange man, but like he has a dream, and the dream is what we all kind of like we strangely admire about him, just despite the weird toxicity and all that shit. And obviously it's
he
different.
Dreamed a dream.
He did he dreamed a dream of times gone by. But like, but I mean, like if you talk to Josh about it though, like, you know, Josh hates Tommy Wiseau with all his heart because once again it's another story that's based off of a real event, but it's a very romanticized version of it. Josh hates Tommy Wiseau because Tommy Wiseau is a toxic piece of trash, and like, and I super get it. Like he did horrible shit during The Room. Like he did absolute horrible shit, but like the disaster artist kind of plays it in a little lighter of a tone, a very comedic tone. So obviously there's differences there. But like, I don't know, it's something in which, you know, I'm gonna, when I look back on this month and I look back on the Rise of Skywalker's time in the box office, I hope I'll remember Richard Jewell the way that I remember The Disaster Artist, as being the much better film of the time. So, but yeah, so I am so sorry, everyone.
That is okay.
I'm fucking talking about Tommy Wiseau and a big picture of Rey is up there. I will say, watching this movie again, I forgot how much I super love Star, like, not like Star Wars. I'll never get over that, but like I did like have this moment where I'm like, I do genuinely like some of the performances in these movies, and like Tabby, I think, put it the best, because they're being, like I said, the main reason we're watching is because Tabby didn't see it, and I wanted to kind of recap for myself. But one of the things that like Tabby pointed out was the Rose, Tico, and Finn stuff when they go to the casino planet feels like a video game. Like their subplot feels like a video game. And
yeah,
I still hate Ryan Johnson. I still think he's a bloated asshole who can't admit when he's wrong. Because like just recently there was someone who did a very well done dissection of Luke Skywalker's character and why it doesn't fit with the Ryan Johnson interpretation, and his response was, well, that's such a linear way of seeing a character. He's not a video game character where progression stacks upon stacks. There's like, you know, a character can fall and stuff. And it's like, I don't think that you didn't get it, you fuck. You still don't get it after all this time. You don't understand what you did.
Yeah, well, some people are just so stuck up their own ass that they never will understand. Like,
how do you not understand When, like, the entire fandom hates you!
Because you're so far up your own ass, fucking, you're looking back out of your own fucking throat hole. Like, sometimes you just get so fucking delusioned. You know? Fucking, in which you think you know more about that character than pretty much fucking everybody else.
When, like, the fact that, like, okay, yes, I can see that, but, like, you don't see abject failure when the actor tells you, I don't like this interpretation, when the entire fandom hates your movie. We all actively, like, I know that there's a few people who like The Last Jedi, and hey, props to you, you know, like, look, I'm just coming from a different place, and everyone's allowed to have their own perspective when it comes to movies. You know, you could enjoy something that's different, and that's cool, and I'm really sorry if that's where you stand. And I don't hate this movie, but I hate his way. Like hate is such a strong word, and there is good in this movie. There's certain moments between those two actors, between Rey and Kylo Ren, where, like, I'm like, you know what? That's the most interesting thing in this movie. You know who I didn't like? Fucking purple hair prom dress. I hate General Hordo or whatever the fuck her name is. Like I don't understand. Like, there's so many stupid things. And the worst part is that we spent years dissecting this, and so now I know. The worst part is that I used to have before the internet, before, like, not the internet, before, like, we all decided to start dissecting every little piece of Star Wars, there used to be things that I couldn't explain. And that almost that ambiguity in its own way kind of shrouded the idea of, like, oh, it's like Schrodinger's, like, gunshot wound. It's like, did I get shot? I don't know, because I'm not gonna look down. It kind of hurts. It could be something else.
It could be a gut wound.
But, like, we never had, like, full dissection before. I've never had someone perform an open surgery on a movie the way that we had The Last Jedi. And now I know. Now I know every little thing that I hate about this movie. And you could argue that, yes, there are some things that, like, Mitchell, maybe you were influenced because of the dissection. Things you didn't see before, all of a sudden, those things are now to your attention, and now that they've been pointed out to you, of course you're gonna hate them, right? No! To a degree. Because, like, I hate doing, like, the full energy and then cutting back. Because, yes, you are right.
Well, kinda.
Because that's the thing. I can't deny that. That happens. When a person is introduced to new information, of course their opinions will start to change. Unless you're a stubborn jackass. Like, of course people's opinions should not be sturdy, rock solid fucking things, depending on what they are. When it comes to films, you should always be, like, I always felt the mentality of Play-Doh kind of makes sense, right? Play-Doh is something in which you can build something, you can shape something, right? And if you let it harden, it'll harden, right? Like, it'll kind of harden into a shape. You can even, like, you know, like, or better yet, clay. You know, you can kind of mold it, you can kind of bend it, and then you can kind of, you know, you can heat it and stuff like that, and it'll become like a nice little pot or a nice little vase, right? But, like, the idea is that it should be malleable. There always should be kind of, like, because there's movies that I've seen once and I thought I hated it, and then I come back and watch, like, years down the road and I'm like, you know what, this actually was pretty good. Like, you shouldn't always have, like, such a hard stance on things when it comes to films, because sometimes they'll change for you. The fucking Forrest Gump was a big one for me. I hated Forrest Gump when I first watched it. Now I see it and I'm like, this is a quite nice little quaint film, you know? I look at it now and I'm like, this is nice. There's things that I appreciate later in life than, let's say, when I was, like, a teenager or in my early 20s. There's some things in my early 20s that I hated that in my later 20s I actually really like. One of those things is Guinness. Like, I hated Guinness in my early 20s and now it's my favorite drink. You know, things change. Your tastes change. You change as a person, and it's okay to have your opinions change. And hey, I'm giving The Last Jedi way more credit than I did a couple weeks ago because, hey, I haven't seen it in a while, and I've learned, and it's me kind of almost emphasizing the lesson to myself. Like, sometimes you gotta let this stuff kind of, like, you know, you gotta give it another shot, see how you feel, and if your opinion's the same, it's the same, you know? Hell, I watched Gundam 00, a show I couldn't fucking stomach. This year I finished it, and that was a
Yeah.
lot better than I thought it was going to be. It's still garbage in some degrees, but it's still good.
There's still like good things you can pull from Gundam 00.
Exactly.
Now though.
Yeah, so did it have an influence? Yes. I cannot lie when I say that there are some things that Mr. Plinkett or some other videos that kind of dissected these issues brought up that I didn't quite have words for, or I didn't quite, understand. For example, when I first saw the casino scenes, in my mind I'm like, why are we here? I don't really understand why we're here. Like we're trying to get a guy, but it doesn't make sense to me, because why were you able to get away and then you're just going to come back to the sinking ship? It's weird. It's a whole weird situation. I didn't really understand it. But then, like, people dissect it. They understand, like, people who are more knowledgeable than I am started to take it apart, dissect it, and understand the problems. And then, now we have the issue that we have. So the point is that, like, you should always give a movie a second chance. If you're questioning it, like, maybe give it a shot. Like, but Rian Johnson's a piece of shit. And I know that sounds like, yes, Mitchell, everyone thinks that, but, like, I cannot emphasize enough how it's one thing that he doesn't, like, how do I word this? It's one thing that he did what he did, but it's another thing that he's so unapologetic and so shitty about it. Because even when the facts are in front of him, when, like, someone has done a character analysis, he fucking sits there and it's just like, it's so linear. I made Looper. It's so linear, the way that you guys do progression. You know what? Because that's something that was pointed out in the analysis, right? Luke lies. He lies to Rey in The Last Jedi. He says that he was going, like, he makes it sound like him and Ben had a fight and everything, and or something like that, and then Kylo has to tell Rey that, like, no, he came to kill me. That's what happened. I was asleep and I saw Master Luke with his lightsaber pulled out, and he was gonna kill me. And then
it was Rey, a very one-sided fight.
and then Rey goes back to Luke and she's like, "Did you do this?" And Luke's like, and while I admit, like, it's like he explains the situation and I get it, it doesn't feel like Luke. None of this feels like Luke.
Yeah.
And I can't deal with it because I'm so filled with rage. Because all I know, I hate this. I hate that we're talking about Star Wars again.
Mark Hamill said that it didn't feel like Luke, that he equated it to being Jake Skywalker. He was like a brother of Luke, similar but so different.
Oh.
He said they have like a similar background and similar knowledge, but they're two very different people.
Insane Oddball, do not get me started on Voltron. Do not get me started on the relationship between fandoms and its media, because that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day, and it's 10:20 and I don't want to get into it.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so I'm gonna go see the new Star Wars movie, and I'm also gonna go see Jumanji, which I think is super funny because I think my mom is way more excited for Jumanji than they are for Star Wars. Like both my parents are like, yeah, Jumanji was good when we saw it like 2 years ago. I'm sure the next one will be good. And from what I've read, it sounds like it's like exactly what you expect, and I think that'll be fun. I think that watching Star Wars with my dad is just gonna be like forcing him to go see a story he just doesn't give a shit about, which is the most disheartening thing in the whole world to me, is the fact that, like, Rian Johnson, you can say whatever the fuck you want. You alienated all the old fans. Fuck you.
Yeah, that is something he will have to fucking deal with.
No, he won't. He will never deal with it because he doesn't see what he did wrong. He doesn't see what he did as a fucking thing that is wrong. He turned a hero yes, everything can be gray, sure, but Star Wars is a fucking bilinear story. It is about good and evil, and yes, there is an extended universe that used to exist, that used to take care of these issues, and that was my favorite part about Star Wars. But not to Grand Master Luke. Not to Mara Jade, his wife. Not to his children. Not to fucking Jason and Jaina. Not to...
Yeah, also, I love apparently how chill Leia and fucking Han took the, hey, so I tried to kill your kid and you ran off and joined the
They
dark
never
side.
said... No, Luke didn't tell him.
He straight up didn't tell him?
Leia said that... Yeah, every detail I'm telling you does not sound like Luke Skywalker. Fucking like what he did, what happened was I think he explained this like oh well, Ben left, took the best students, burned my temple down and killed others. And then like
No
Leia's like, oh, I blame Snoke for this.
Oh my god. So he just straight up went, hey sis. Son's evil now, don't know what happened.
Well, it sounds like it, doesn't it? It definitely like
holy shit.
Yeah, it's a lot worse than we really put it out to be, but I promise, I swear to you guys, Star Wars, we will stop talking about Star Wars after we talk about The Rise of Skywalker.
It only sounds as bad as we're making it because that's what happened.
We will stop talking about Star Wars on this show after like The Mandalorian and after like Rise of Skywalker stuff. When that stuff ends, you know, because I know that I've raged about this and I keep raging about this, and I know that to me it's not healthy. It's not good, because all this does is just it's the path to the dark side of the Force. You know, it's just anger leads to hate leads to whatever. It's suffering. It's so like I'm not gonna talk about Star Wars in a negative light until well, I'm gonna talk about it next week. Obviously, there's no doubt in my mind that there's gonna be issues with the new movie, but I'm gonna try very hard to be positive about it, because that's the thing. We need less of this and more of this. And I can't emphasize that enough. I need more stories like Richard Jewell. I need more movies like this than disappointing stories about fantasy wizards and all that shit. And I can't emphasize enough. If you guys have any movie recommendations that I could probably go watch or something like that, you could feel free to give them in my Discord, or you can, you know, PM me or leave comments or something like that, because I need more I need more Richard Jewells. I need more stories about actual heroism and not some bloated fucking not New York, fucking Californian fucking folk singer, which is unfortunately a joke I stole from Mr. Blanket, who won't admit when he's fucking wrong, and won't admit when, you know, like because he's not, in his mind he's not wrong, he's just a storyteller, and that's how I interpreted the character because I was given the reins for it.
Yeah.
Anyways, I don't want to end it on a note, so I will tell you guys this. I will leave you guys on kind of on a better note than The Last Jedi. I hope you guys have a really wonderful holiday. I know that I'm not going to be around for like the next week, but you know, I'm going to try to render some stuff up before I go. That way you can say Muv Love. I'm going to give you guys more Muv Love.
Yeah.
Because guess what? When we come back, the Tuesday and Friday streams are going to start being Fire Emblem, because we want to start finishing that up.
Yep.
So so look forward to that. And you know, I'm really sorry guys about like kind of like the little Star Wars meltdown I always fucking have these last couple of weeks. I do promise that that's going to stop happening once the Mandalorian season's done, and once Rise of Skywalker's done.
I don't think that like the Mandalorian will cause you to rage.
No,
Mandalorian has been wonderful.
Jon Favreau really knows how to handle it, and you know, I know some people are starting to get out of the Mandalorian story, but I do find that I haven't caught up on it obviously in a little bit. That's why we haven't been doing the bits, but it's because of busyness than anything. Christmas just keeps me busy, and I promise that in the new year I do want to have a big conversation sometime in January when we celebrate the channel anniversary of, you know, making videos on YouTube. I do want to have a big talk with you guys about my future plans for the show for the upcoming year, and talking about like, you know, what we're gonna do, because I've got some really fun ideas and I'm really excited for them, and yeah, it's almost like talking about like good movies and bad movies just makes like me super exhausted. Almost, huh?
Yeah.
So
And I mean, I totally get it. Fucking, it's the back and forth of just being overjoyed and then the disappointment of fucking, you know.
yeah. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching the podcast. I absolutely love coming back here every week and doing more stuff. So we'll catch you guys next time.
Next time.